"Who is she?" the commander whispered, stopping mid-step as his eyes locked on the front row. The graduation field was buzzing. Rows of Navy SEAL candidates in pristine white uniforms, families cheering, flags waving in the summer breeze. But in that moment, all sound faded for him. His gaze was fixed on a woman seated among the families, tears streaking her face, her hand trembling as she pushed her sleeve back. What he saw inked on her arm made him freeze. The ceremony, polished and precise, suddenly stumbled into silence. The candidates stood at attention, confused. The crowd hushed. The commander's boots, once steady, slowed as if the weight of recognition anchored him to the ground. It wasn't just a tattoo. It was a name, a date, and below it, the SEAL trident. The woman in the front row wasn't just any proud parent. She was the mother of a fallen SEAL. Years ago, her son had stood exactly where these young men were standing now. Strong, determined, ready to serve. He had gone on to fight in a mission overseas, one that never made the headlines. A mission that cost him his life, but saved the lives of countless others. She had carried his memory in silence, never asking for recognition. But on this day, she wore his story on her arm, carved forever into her skin. A tattoo of the insignia he had earned with blood, sweat, and sacrifice. When her younger son stepped forward in his crisp uniform, ready to join the brotherhood his brother had once belonged to, she couldn't hold back her tears. She touched the tattoo, whispering to herself, "He's here. He's with you." That's when the commander noticed. The crowd shifted uneasily, not yet understanding. Why had the commander stopped? Why was his expression breaking the polished formality of the ceremony? He turned sharply, facing the recruits, his voice heavy with emotion. "Gentlemen," he said, "do you see that woman right there?" Every head turned. The young men, moments away from earning their tridents, followed his gaze. "That is not just a mother, that is a living reminder of what this uniform means." Whispers rippled through the rows. The recruits had trained for months, endured pain, exhaustion, and doubt. But none of it compared to the loss etched on her arm. The commander stepped closer to her, bending down so his voice reached only her ears. "I knew him," he said softly. Her breath caught, tears fell harder. He remembered her son, not just his name, not just his rank, but his courage, his sacrifice. They had fought side by side, and now, standing before her younger son, the commander carried the weight of both memory and responsibility. Years earlier, her oldest boy had been the type no one thought would make it. Small in stature, quiet in demeanor, doubted even in training. But he had grit, he had fire, and when the moment came, he proved every doubter wrong, saving teammates at the cost of his own life. That sacrifice had crushed her, but it hadn't broken her. Instead, she carried him forward, literally etched into her arm, so that every day she remembered not the pain of his loss, but the honor of his life. Now, watching her second son stand tall in the same uniform, she felt the impossible mix of grief and pride that only a mother of warriors could know. The commander stood back and raised his voice so the entire audience could hear. "This ceremony is not just about achievement, it's about sacrifice. These men standing before you will risk everything for this nation. Some of them will not return home, and when they don't, it's the families who carry the weight." He gestured to her. "This mother has already given more to this country than most of us ever will. Her son's legacy lives on in her tattoo. And now through his brother who stands among you." The crowd erupted into applause, thunderous, heartfelt, rising into the open sky. Even the recruits, still at attention, felt their throats tighten and eyes burn. The mother, overwhelmed, placed a hand over her heart. For years she had sat in silence at ceremonies, just another face in the crowd. But today her pain became a symbol, her son's sacrifice became part of the graduation itself, and her tattoo spoke louder than any speech. The commander turned to the recruits once more. "When you wear this trident, remember, every action you take, every mission you go on, every risk you face, you carry not only your brothers beside you, but the families behind you. Never forget the cost, never forget the sacrifice." The ceremony resumed, but it would never be the same. When the pins were finally placed on each recruit, the weight felt heavier, more sacred, and when her younger son's trident was pinned to his chest, He turned first, not to the crowd, not to the cameras, but to his mother. He raised his hand in a sharp salute. She stood, tears falling freely now, and returned the gesture. In that moment, her two sons stood together, one in flesh, one in memory, united in honor. Behind every uniform stands a family. Behind every sacrifice is a story that must never be forgotten. Before we end this story, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear. If this story touched you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know how you feel in the comment.